community.
Freedom.
I would say magic.
Identity.
Responsible.
Community.
PCN is short for Philippine Cultural Night, and this year we'll be celebrating our 52nd PCN with Kasamahan. It's this student-led cultural showcase that showcases different aspects of Philippine culture through arts. So PCNs are derived from the first Philippine dance company in the Philippines, known as the Bayanihan Dance Company. Colleges and universities in the US took inspiration from the pieces that the Bayanihan Dance Company were putting on in the Philippines. And so our first PCN was actually held in the cafeteria over 51 years ago. And it used to be called Barrio Fiesta, or neighborhood party.
So the change from Barrio Fiesta to PCN took place approximately 2 years ago. With Barrio Fiesta, right there in the name, it just means like a neighborhood party, but our PCN has grown to be so much more than just a party. And since we are doing more indigenous dances in different regions, we wanted to make sure that we had a title that was more representative of the entire Philippines.
We have dance aspects, and then we also have non-dance aspects. For non-dance aspects, so the past few years we've had spoken word, we've had skit, we've had choir, we've had Philippine martial arts, and then we've also had rondalia in the past. They teach us how to play Philippine instruments for our song sets, because during PCN we always have live music. And we also have a new aspect that was introduced this previous year called Sabang Pagbigkas. Sabang Pagbigkas just is a group speech choir. It's kind of how I would describe it. It's kind of like a group spoken word with some music or sound elements, and also choreography and acting.
And within dance, we have 3 different suites. Even within those suites, there's still so much variety within them. But we do have the barrio or neighborhood dances. We also have Maria Clara or Spanish suite dances. So these are more influenced from the time that the Philippines was under Spanish colonial rule. So you'll see a lot of Spanish influences in terms of the movements and the attire show up in those dances. And then we also have indigenous dances. So the Philippines is home to many different indigenous groups that exist scattered throughout the Philippines, and each of them have their own traditions, their own attire, their own dances as well.
Going back to Kuya Eric, who would go and do immersion trips to make sure, 1, that he can learn these dances, and 2, that he can accurately have us represent them. We carry so much pride. You could see it in our faces. I think it's just the large emphasis on really properly representing these cultures is something that brings us forward.
6 is going on the left side, which
I now work with over 80 indigenous elders throughout the Philippine archipelago with 30 indigenous communities. And that's how I then make sure that since I teach here, or also a director for Parangal, I just consider myself as a medium to find connections between the younger generations. And there's a lot of our younger generation that's really interested, or sometimes I would probably say hungry, to really trace their roots.
It allowed me to realize sort of how tenacious the culture is. There are a lot of forces that were trying to hide us from being able to perform some of these dances, and having a whole suite of indigenous dances was really meaningful to me, and it kind of brought me closer to the sense of tenacity in our culture. And I think obviously there's like the learning aspects of it, like we have to learn the history of aspects that we're in, and that gave me a lot of knowledge, but it really made me appreciate who I am and all the people before me to allow these like arts to come through.
Still also amazed, at the same time overwhelmed with just how rich and beautiful our Philippine culture is.
I want this year for PCN is just for people to have fun. I want cast to enjoy themselves. I want people to be in community, to be there to support each other. I want us to move with intention, integrity, and care for each other.
Yes, an enchanting experience. It's such an enchanting experience.
We do have something that we want everybody to pay attention to.
Paraluman. Paraluman.
Paraluman.
Paraluman. Paraluman.
Paraluman.
So Kasama, what is the light that guides you?